The topic is gun violence and interpersonal relationships, and we're fortunate to have with us Mr. LGreenlee, Mr. Britton, and Mr. Davis. And of course, gentlemen, let me welcome you back to the second segment of the show for today. Mr. Greenlee, the topic is gun violence and interpersonal relationships, but I think more specifically we're concerned about interpersonal relationships, and gun violence generally follows some of these interpersonal relationships. And so what we want to do today is to use a term that I think that I've heard people talk about, respect the set, which is to say that you ought to have respect for the general community, and et cetera. Let's start with you by having you to lay down a foundation so these younger individuals, as well as myself, can have a better understanding of where we are and where we need to go.
Okay, well, let's do it like this. Let's say no matter what we want to say, somebody failed us somewhere. If you look at my community and you talk about these boys wearing their pants down, how did it happen? Where did it come from? If you start to seeing it being done and you do nothing about it, then don't you get the results? See, us as older people, we have to take the responsibility that we've done some things against our own communities. Okay, so we can point fingers all we want. Every time I hear somebody say, boy, them boys need to pull their pants up, you know what I say? Give them a reason. See, when you have no reason, you're an ex-felon, you're out of the system, you catch one little small dope case, you ain't killed nobody, you ain't murdered nobody, you haven't done none of this, and then all of a sudden, you can't even get a McDonald's job. But yet instead, you tell me to pay you $40 a month, and when I can't pay you, you lock me back up, because once I fill the application out, I therefore cannot even have the job because I'm a felon. I'm telling the audience out there, the people that's lawyers, the people that's in politics, we need to get involved and get back to the basics and start to really, just like Martin Luther King did, let's start marching for this stuff. We keep on wanting to protest and talk about these things, but man, let's put some of our resources back in the, listen, it's nobody's real problem, it's of all of our problems. So let's get back now and put this dream team. I had a guy that called me on a radio station and said, let's put a dream team together. And you know, if I'm uneducated and don't have that kind of education, then you need to get in to push me along. You don't need to tell me I'm not politically correct. You don't need to do all that. You need to get in and let's work this thing together. That's what I want to make a plea to.
And of course, Britton, you've done quite a bit in terms of, as you indicated in the introduction, the term of overcoming. And why don't you make some statements in reference to some of the things that we were talking about here?
Well, as a young man, growing up during my high school years, I was used to people, parents, family, the community, the church, pointing the finger, saying you need to do this, make sure you do that, make sure you do that. But in my mind, there was some other things going on that I feel like I couldn't go to an adult, even my mama, to talk about. So I feel like growing up, I was lacking the father figures in my life. I was lacking the real support, the real love. And so now I totally understand why our young people make some decisions that they make. Is because they got a thought in their mind that they have to do a certain thing to fit in, or they have to do a certain thing to make it in life. So I think that it is time, coming from a young man, I think that it's time for all of us to pull together and let's stop talking about it and let's start offering solutions and supporting our young people that are making bad decisions.
Now, would you agree with that, Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir, most definitely. And